wanted to thank you for taking time today to talk, and I wanted to congratulate you on the upcoming release of Milk and Honey Deluxe. Um, I wondered for you what prompted this decision, and curious when you had it at first in mind, since you just released Milk and Honey last year, like midway through the year.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like I don't know, do we call it a trend in music? That you kind of, well, the thing about, when you're making an album, there's a lot of stuff that gets left on the floor. You got to decide, like, what's going to be on this thing, what's not. For me, it was a little bit different because what happened, the record came out, and then I just kept writing. And that's another thing that happens, I think, a lot more than we probably, or me as a consumer, probably acknowledge or think about. But a lot of artists too will be like, okay, do we put this out now? We just put a record out. Like, are we already writing another record? Is that what we're doing? Are you doing another album now? So I think that's part of it. And at the same time too, we had been in a bunch of different settings where we were just hitting the record button and these live outings that we were on. We did a Milk and Honey tour. We had a few moments where we were with Passion that, they got cameras rolling. And so it was like, this is kind of capturing this moment that we've just had with this album. And people, in my mind, people didn't see that, and be a part of it, because it was so fun to have people back in a room singing together after not having been able to do that for a number of years. And so that part was a no-brainer. So, hey, I kept writing. Also, we captured this stuff. It feels like it's documenting the same space and time as what we put out with the Milk and Honey, and just gives a little bit deeper experience to what it was initially. So that part was like super fun. And in the past, they always roll the Deluxe out, and it feels like it's the stuff that didn't make it the first go round. This was totally a different. I think this happens more than I've acknowledged in the past. I think a lot of it's just artists gets wound up and they're not ready to move from where they are. And here we go. We're still in this lane, in this journey, in this space and time, and we're capturing some stuff that maybe will resonate with you in the same way it's resonating with me.
Absolutely. One of the ones that you mentioned, capturing live in a few different versions, was In the House. And I know that that one's seen some good charting success as well, being one of your singles that came out. I'm curious if there's a recurring theme that you see in some of the listener feedback on why that song speaks to so many.
Part of it maybe, well, for one, it's a song I've been wanting to write for a long time. And there aren't a ton of songs that I'm like, man, I keep chipping away. I keep saying, I want to write a song that says such and such. And I've been trying to write a song that does Psalm 122, verse 1. I was glad when I said, let's go in the house of the Lord. It's simple. Like, I learned it as a kid in Sunday school at age 4, one of my earliest. So I've been trying to write this song for a long time. And so that for me is happy to finally get it out and enunciate it in a way that after my journey with Christ, I can look at all of the twists and turns. As an adult, it means something very different than it did as a kid. And I think that you can't sing enough, or I can't sing enough over and over, that grace is so extensive and so extravagant that it exceeds our failures. And I just think that's what happens when you're part of a congregation or a community of believers that lives that part of it out. And when you walk in the door, they're hoping you're carrying something that you can lay down. They're hoping that your burden can get lighter because theirs has been lightened. And when it says yoke is easy, it's so much. It's easier to follow when you're following along with people who can say it is. You've seen my journey, you've seen my experience, you know where I came from, and that means if he's faithful for me and you've watched it happen, he'll be faithful for you. And so that part is, I don't think we can sing enough songs that let one another know that that's the truth.
Absolutely. The deluxe version also is going to have a new track called King. I'm curious what that song means to you personally, why you chose to include that.
That would be one of the things I'm talking about. Like, we just kept writing. It was like, we can't stop. And so, you have to go, are we making a whole nother album? And like, no, we're not. Like, we're rolling out these other, moments that we've captured live. Let's get this in here. Cause I wish I would have come to it sooner. Just cause I love the song is, we were doing the Atmos, the spatial audio version of it. We're rolling it out too, and I was just at my house yesterday. Gosh, that's yesterday. That blows my mind. And that song just floors me. I wish it would have been. I wish I would have got to it sooner. So I'm glad that at least it'll have a life sitting alongside these other songs that it seems to fit tonally and thematically right next to one another.
That's great. I'm sure it's going to be a standout.
It's like, if I was smarter, it's like, who's going to stop the king? And then you got a song called King that comes out, and you're like, oh, man, did I do this too soon? So, sometimes we make mistakes. I think this was good that we at least get it in front of people right now.
That's great. Another one of the live versions you mentioned that you recorded for this is from Passion 2022. Which you were able to participate in. I'm curious what stood out to you to make this experience a little bit unique and special compared to some of the previous ones that you've been a part of.
Oh, well, rewind a year, and we're doing the whole conference on the internet,
Yes.
That's just, I don't want to say it wasn't great, but it didn't feel like they had felt in the past. So to be back, to be back in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, at the first of this year, even though there was so much still afoot, like, you're going into that moment not knowing, are we going to be able to do this? Like, is it going to be okay to do this? Because things are changing every day. And then there we are. Here we are at 60,000 college students strong in Mercedes-Benz. And so I don't know how you could, the energy level of just our physical presence near to one another, gathered around the reign and supremacy of God. It was that alone was pretty phenomenal, and then much less, getting on a stage in the middle of it and singing songs that announce that was, I don't know. It's going to be one of those that just hangs in my head and my heart for the rest of my life. I'm confident.
I can imagine.
It's really special.
I can imagine. I'm curious if there's a track that means something different to you now from when you first released it from the original album.
Anchor is like the last song on the album. Normally that's a really difficult question to ask because it changes day to day, like your days change. And so if you're singing like the same songs, they tend to morph and be different every time you encounter them. But that one's one I didn't see coming. In a live sense, we actually, all of the Milk and Honey tour, we started the whole show with that, and it's kind of like an anti-star. It's not like a hype song. It's really chill. It's just basically piano and some vocals and a choral group and me singing. And it's like, I wouldn't see that as you're going on the Milk and Honey tour. What are you going to do to blow, the roof off the place at the first? And it's resonated in a way with people that I did not, like I felt like it was a great closer to an album. I never saw it being, redundantly appropriate in name. It anchors pretty much everything that the album's trying to say, and I think that people resonate with what does it mean, like when you're in a time and space when everything feels fluid and so difficult to know, like, where do I stand, to be able to announce and sing out loud, I know I'm on the rock that's immovable. That I think is a truth that unexpectedly became really relevant and resonant with people.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious, success is such a broad term, and can mean so many different things at
Right?
different
It
times
is.
to different
Like,
people.
I had breakfast this morning and I feel so successful. And an
Absolutely.
omelet with eggs. And I think it may have been lunch meat in it. And I'm like, this day is we're winning today. This is very successful what we're doing.
Oh, that's great. So I'm curious, taking that same lens and looking at this Deluxe album, how are you looking to define success for this project?
Oh, I'm hoping for no physical injury, and we get out. No, I really what I love about what we've collected is the live moments to just see. Um, it's important to me when I see people singing songs that are true. It makes me go, oh, look at them when they're singing that. Look at their eyes. They believe, and they are totally swept up in this moment. And they may be singing out of a place of hope, but I believe that they know where they're going. That part is important for me. I think people will again resonate with what I believe we're singing that's truthful.
That's awesome. And you mentioned seeing people's eyes and watching. So you're currently in the middle of touring right now. So I'm curious what portion of the night, that if there is one, that you're just consistently looking forward to and really enjoying being out there with people.
Yes, it's the fourth song in the set, and it's more of what when I was talking about the anchor, it's the almost antithetically hype compared to chill, and it's higher power is the name of the song, and the whole front end of the set we blaze through like 4 songs, and they're all just like my neck hurts. I'm headbanging banjos, and by the time we get to higher power, when JR, who is our bass player and MD, comes and takes over my microphone and starts rapping, that's my favorite part of the whole set. One, because I get to finally catch my breath, I take a drink of water, and I literally just get to stand kind of in the dark. The lights aren't. I found my place on stage where it's kind of hidden and dark, and I get to just look out at people's faces, and it's just the best to see people singing along and together. I guess is the best part of it. We're just back together.
That's fantastic. I know we're cutting close to our end of time, so I have one more question for you. And it can be musical or not musical in your answer, but what are you most expectant for in this year?
First of all, this is probably not part of the interview, but your questions have been really great. Expectant for this year, I'm looking forward to summertime, and I plan on being getting my share of vitamin D. I'm very excited about this in the coming year. I have a window of time where I'm like, this is great being back out, but I also got super lazy at doing Zoom calls and wearing soft clothes. And so I'm
Yes.
looking forward to wearing soft clothes and getting a lot of vitamin D in a particular month coming up.
Oh, that's fantastic. I just want to thank you again for taking the time. I really appreciate talking with you.